Everyone thought he was just an edgy teenager, but he turns out to be the Harry Potter of demon hunters. Liam is a 17-year-old edgelord who lives with his lecherous dad, but beyond their tense relationship, the father and son share another secret. Their world is infested with demons that hide among humans and eat them, and they are Makai knights who have supernatural powers that they use to defeat the demons. However, the world doesn't know about that, and they are hunted down as evil witches and wizards. In the Valiant Kingdom, magic users existed for a long time under the suspicious eyes of muggles, but everything changed 17 years ago. One day, the king mysteriously fell ill, and his trusted minister told him that it was because of a witch's curse. So the king ordered the accused witch Anna to be captured and burnt at stake while she was 9 months pregnant. The muggles cursed her as she was set on fire, but then suddenly, loud cries were heard from the pyre. It was the sound of a newborn baby crying, and everyone was awestruck by what they just witnessed. Suddenly, a man dressed in CGI silver armor appeared behind the king. He dashed ahead, ignored the king and his ministers, and dived right into the fire. He lifted up the baby, covered in protective magic, and covered him with a cloth. He looked at the witch who was his wife, and then at their newborn son before summoning an armored horse out of thin air to take him away while doing parkour on the rooftops across the city. The minister told the king that he must have been the demonic knight they had captured, and he somehow freed himself to help the witch. He then ordered all the soldiers to give chase and then sent the king back to his chambers to rest. He cursed the witch, swearing that this was only the beginning, and he would surely erase all of her kind soon. True to his word, he instigated the king to launch massive witch hunts, torturing and killing hundreds of witches and wizards all over the country in just a year. However, it did not stop just at that. People began doubting their friends and neighbors, and the peace of the kingdom started to erode. Under the name of witch hunting, the Valiant Kingdom sent its forces and conquered surrounding cities. As the number of witches and wizards decreased, the number of demons disguising themselves as humans and attacking them increased because no one was around to stop them. 17 years after that incident, the young Leon lives in a small town that was recently conquered by the Valiant Kingdom. His dad, German, is the ultimate rizzler and the customer of the month in all the brothels around the town, and when he doesn't have money, he tells the pretty ladies some stories to cover the bill. Tonight, he is telling Hot Mommy the story of how witches are misunderstood by the people and how they are defending them from supernatural horrors beyond their comprehension. The bitch doesn't care about the witches, but German tells her that demons lurk in the world, hunting innocent people and taking their appearance to keep hunting humans. The bitch tells him that she has never seen any demons in all her years and tells German to get lost if he doesn't have any money. As he tries searching for his purse, someone yells at him that his son is here. German immediately goes to the window to ask his son for some money, but Leon has enough talent to become an MLB pitcher, and he knocks his dad down with just one hit. German uses this chance to get some sympathy from the bitch and do the deed, while Leon goes home alone, unaware that some soldiers from the capital have found that he is the son of the witch from 17 years ago, and they are here to burn him. Meanwhile, German is getting a Gluck 3000 from the baddie, while telling her more about horrors. As he begins to show her his pumping skills, she suddenly transforms into a demon and attacks him. German immediately pulls out daggers from his bag and chops off the demon's head, destroying it. On the other hand, the soldiers shoot Leon's house with fire arrows, causing it to burn down, and then their ugly-ass commander goes inside to finish the deal. Leon had been waiting for him, because he could sense that the ugly guy was not a human, but a demon. He declares that he has inherited the power to seal away demons from his mother, and then summons a golden armor that belonged to a legendary hero named Garo. The ugly man attacks him, and they fly away while trading blows. Leon uses his armor's cape to toss the man into the sky, where he transforms into an even uglier demon. The demon picks up Leon's burning house and yeets it at him, but Leon passes through it, and then stabs its head. As the demon falls to the ground, the soldiers shit their pants and run away, while Leon and the demon stand face to face. They charge at each other, and Leon chops off the demon's legs before shoving his sword in its black hole, and then shooting so much energy that it explodes from the inside. As the sun rises, German returns, and Leon asks him if he left him alone on purpose because he knew that the demons were coming for him. German says that it was just a part of his training because he should be able to handle that much by now. He then tells Leon that they are going to head to the capital of the Valiant Kingdom immediately because they have a mission to fulfill. On their way, they stop at some ancient ruins, and German goes to meet a 1,000-year-old Loli, who is the representative of the Watchdog Center, an organization that keeps track of the supernatural dangers before they hit the earth and commands the Magic Knights to deal with them. The Loli tells him that the number of devils in the capital of the Valiant Kingdom is beyond abnormal, and they need to find the cause of that and take care of it immediately. German suspects that Mendoza is the one behind everything because he was once a Makai priest as well, and now he has a grudge towards the organization. He asks the Loli just what they did to him to send him on his villain arc, but she has no comments for that. She just orders him to deal with the cause of the problem, and if it is Mendoza, he should kill him and fulfill his duty as a Makai knight. German just walks back knowing that he won't get any information out of the Loli, but she asks him about his son's training, and this time he refuses to give any comments. Meanwhile, Leon is having a nightmare about his mom being burnt at the stake, and because of that, he has some curse marks appear on his body. German comes out of an ancient rune gate just then, and to help his son cool down, he just tosses him in the nearby stream. After that, Leon starts preparing breakfast, and German tells him to do something about his morbid expressions or he won't be able to pull any bitches. Leon replies that he doesn't want any, but German asks him if he is gay by any chance. Leon gets really angry at this and jumps him, giving him a black eye. Later, they reach the city, and German sells their horses for a good price. Leon asks him why he sold the horses because they have a long way to the capital, and German tells him that they need to buy some war gear. Suddenly, a hooker comes up to him and starts kissing him because he's an old-time customer of hers. Before Leon throws hands at him, German tells him to listen to his logic. He says that since Leon inherited his golden armor from his mother, he doesn't need another. However, that means that his silver armor is going to be wasted if he doesn't have another son to give it to, and hence he needs to spend time procreating with any woman that allows him. Leon curses him, but German is already on his way. Leon takes a tour of the city, wondering what his mom even saw in his dad, when suddenly he comes to a crucifix to burn witches. The Chernobyl survivor Sweeper tells him that a lot of girls are disappearing from the city lately, and people believe that it is the doing of witches, so the witch hunts are frequent and intense. He tells Leon that another girl has been caught recently, and she might actually be the witch they are looking for. The girl named Emma has been tied and beaten in the local church, and the fat, ugly priest tells her that if she admits to being a witch, her death will be less painful. The girl tells him that it doesn't matter since she's going to be executed anyway, but the ugly priest gives her one more day to reconsider, because he is, in fact, a demon who is the one behind the kidnappings. At night, Leon tells German about the girl who was captured by the priests for using healing magic on people, and he tells him that he knows that as well because he wasn't just out there banging girls for fun. He says that the captured girl must be a Makai priest, and she got captured because they are not allowed to harm normal people at any cost. He tells Leon that they need to rescue the girl because she might become an important ally later. They try to infiltrate the church to save Emma, but the ugly bastard is already in her room to torture her. He shows off his collection of torture tools, saying that every witch has a spot that is their weakness, and stabbing that will cause them to go mad. Emma coldly tells him to try out his theories, but then her accessory makes the priest's eyes glow, and she realizes that he is a demon. On learning that his cover is blown, the priest realizes that Emma is a Makai priest. He turns into his demon form, saying that he has more ways to enjoy a Makai priest. However, before he can attack her, Leon and German barge into the room. German leaves the task of defeating the demon to Leon, and he immediately charges ahead, taking the demon outside. Inside, German tells Emma that they are there to save her, but she is a strong, independent woman who needs no man. She breaks a wire, unleashing a magic circle that frees her, and German is shocked because he was planning to use this chance to get into the girl's pants. Emma immediately runs towards the demon and pulls Leon away from it, telling him that it is her prey. He is not willing to give up on hunting the demon himself, but then it unlocks its second form and becomes a refrigerator with two sides for arms. It corners Leon on a bridge and then cuts it off, making Leon fall into the bases of the witch-burning stake. As he sees ash on his hands, Leon's memories of his mother's death awaken, and the cursed symbols start appearing on his body again. He suddenly turns into the Golden Knight, but his armor cracks because of his pain and rage. Emma is shocked to see this, but since Leon is groggy, the demon decides to attack him first. It pins him against the wall, but Leon just grabs its chains and sends his flame through them, tearing apart both the demon's arms. However, his power is beyond his control, and he sets the entire area on fire. German immediately summons his armor to stop him from going berserk and pins him down, giving the demon a chance to escape. While he tells Leon to get a grip and then stabs him to deactivate his armor, Emma follows the escaping demon and dices it till it turns to ash. She comes down to see Leon unconscious and says that he is a pathetic Makai knight if he can't even control his power. On the other hand, in the capital, trouble is brewing and no one has any idea about it. The young Prince Alfonso is practicing swordsmanship with the knights and winning the hearts of his people by treating them right. His mother watches him from the window and tells the ailing king that their son has grown to a fine prince and they should quickly crown him. She then feeds him his afternoon medicine when suddenly, the minister Mendoza comes there along with some soldiers and tells her to stop. He announces that the medicine she is giving to him is poisoned, and the same is true for the food and wine she prepares for him. The queen is shocked to hear this, but Mendoza accuses her of treason. The queen protests, asking why she would even want to kill her husband, and Mendoza says it is so that she can make Alfonso the king. He says that she should come clean and tell everyone that she was a hoe and Alfonso isn't actually the king's son. The queen is horrified by this allegation, but at this point, the entire kingdom is in the palm of Mendoza's hand. He commands the soldiers to arrest her, and the news soon reaches Alfonso. He follows her carriage as it rides out of the palace, and the queen tells him to flee the kingdom because Mendoza has betrayed them. She tells Alfonso that he is the only hope of their country, and asks him to return home a hero like their patron saint and Knight of Light and take back the throne that is rightfully his. Back in the other city, Leon and German are at a pub filled with drunk men, and German reveals that he has a message from the Watchdog Center. He burns a letter over a magic lamp, and the letters appear in the air, saying that the demonic ring Zaruba is complete and telling Leon to come and inherit it. German says that they need to cross a mountain to get to the ring, and Leon is not so sure about it. German says that he is fine with not going because it is Naka's body that will get burnt by his uncontrollable power. Liam is offended by this because it is the truth, and German tells him that as the Golden Makai Knight, he should have the demonic ring, which contains a friendly demon named Zaruba that shares its powers with the Golden Knight. Just then, Ima comes there, saying that it is a coincidence that she met them again. While Leon is not pleased to see her, German is glad to welcome her to their table. After they finish introducing themselves, Ima asks if Leon has found a way to control his flames, and German tells her that they have asked a genius Makai priest named Gel to repair the demonic ring to help him control his power. Ima says it is good for Leon, but he is furious at his dad for revealing their secrets to her, just because she is pretty. As he points his finger at her, Ima sees some burn marks on his hands. Liam grows awkward as she points towards them, so he leaves for his room immediately, but Ima holds his coat, apologizing for being insensitive. The next day, Leon and German head to the hideout of the Makai Prescale, who is busy repairing the magic ring. When he gets tired, he leaves the work to his apprentice, but he starts getting overwhelmed by the power of the ring. Then suddenly, an alarm rings, signifying that a demon is nearby. The apprentice immediately gets on the defense system and starts launching blades to attack Leon and German by playing drums. They dodge the attacks easily, and then German calls out to Gale, saying that he is here to get the ring back. As the assistant hears German's name, he immediately stops shooting them. Soon, the old priest Gal returns there and slaps his assistant for not being able to tell the difference between demons and Makai Knights. German tries to cover for him, but the assistant runs away in shame. German then cracks a joke about how both of them are having trouble training their successors, but the old man doesn't find it funny. German suddenly recalls how they were in the same place 16 years ago, when the witch hunts had started to gain momentum and Gal was severely injured while escaping. His assistant was a snowflake crybaby even then, and Gal told him to man up or he won't be able to fight demons. That day, German gave Gal the demonic ring that his wife used to carry along with her golden armor. The ring was broken and the demon inside it had run away, but German wanted the priest to repair it so that they would help Leon fulfill his role as the Golden Knight. Gal looked at the broken ring and realized that it would take too much time and effort, but he was ready to do it if German had the patience. He declared that it would be his last job, and for the last 16 years he has been single-mindedly working on the ring. Gal tells Leon that only the final repairs are left now, and once they are done, he will be able to control the flames inside his body. He tells him that his grandfather was the previous Golden Knight, and he was the strongest knight of his generation. Gal returns to his workshop and starts throwing magic salt on the ring while chanting arcane spells, but his assistant Marcelo is oddly nervous. He had been tempted by the power of the ring ever since he saw it, and now that it is about to finish, he suddenly starts wanting it for himself. Just then, Gal finishes the final step in repairing the ring, releasing a small fraction of its power. He's glad that he could complete his last gig, and says that now Leon can fulfill his destiny. However, Marcelo starts hearing voices from the lamp flame that tell him that if he needs power, this is his chance. He suddenly summons his magic armor and stabs Gal, declaring that he will not let anyone have his Zaruba ring. He steals the ring and runs away, but unfortunately, he finds Ima on the way, and she is immediately suspicious of him. She asks him why he is running away and what the strange thing in his hand is, which prompts Marcelo to attack her. However, she uses her strings to tie him down and takes the magic ring from his hand. Marcelo causes a powerful explosion to kill her, and that attracts the attention of Leon and German. They rush to the site and find Marcelo on the ground, who tells them that a string user killed Gal and stole the ring. German sends Leon after Ima while he stays back to support Marcelo. Meanwhile, Ima is injured and hiding behind a ledge, and Leon easily finds her. He points his sword at her, but she kicks him away, and he quickly returns to attack her again. He asks her to return the magic ring to him, and Ima tells him that she doesn't have it. She reveals that Marcelo has the ring, and unfortunately, he is turned into a demon because he gave in to his negative emotions. On the other hand, German and Marcelo are in the cave laying Gal to rest. Marcelo says he will go to look for the ring, but German asks him to show his sword before going, because he is sure that Ima can't make the wound that killed the old priest. It is certain that Marcelo got tempted by power and killed his mentor, but tells him that it was all for nothing. However, Marcelo doesn't hear anything, and suddenly attacks him with demonic power, forcing him to flee. German runs out of the cave just as Leon comes there and barely defends against a dark flame. Marcelo comes there soon and says that now he has the power to fulfill his dreams. He puts on the demon ring Zaruba, and nothing happens at all. German tells him that Zaruba only makes contact with the Golden Knight, and no matter how strong another person is, it will never accept them. This makes Marcelo really furious, and he suddenly turns into a full-fledged demon. He attacks them with his dark flames, but Leon summons his armor to protect himself. He charges at Marcelo, who keeps attacking him, destroying everything in his path. Liam gets close to him, but Marcelo forces him away with a point-blank attack, but then Ema comes there to back him up. With her help, Leon jumps behind Marcelo and punches through his stomach, coming into contact with the demonic ring. Suddenly, he finds himself in a strange space, and a giant demonic mask is floating in front of him. It calls itself Zaruba, the demon that came to existence along with the Golden Knight and has always remained its partner. It tells Leon that their contract will make them equals, and in exchange for his powers, he will have to give him 1 day of his life every month. Leon accepts the contract, and a ring-shaped tattoo is formed around his middle finger. With that, he returns to reality and pulls his hand out of Marcelo's belly, revealing the magic ring fused with his armor. Marcelo is furious and attacks him, but Leon easily finishes him. Once that is done, Ema helps them seal Gal's cave so that no one can come snooping on his mementos. Leon asks her if she was following them to get her hands on Zaruba as well, but Ema says that she had some plans of her own, but she decided to change them at the last moment. She then tells Leon that she will wait for him to turn into a full-fledged Makai Knight and then swings away like Spider-Man. On the other hand, Alfonso is running away from Mendoza's soldiers, who alert everyone in the city about the traitorous prince who tried to kill the king. The soldiers find him and attack him, but Alfonso is quite a skilled fighter, and he runs on walls before attacking one of them. To his utter horror, the injured soldier turns into a demon, and so do the other two. He realizes that Mendoza is in league with demons and they are slowly taking over their kingdom, and he declares that he won't let it happen. He attacks a demon, but his sword shatters and he is left defenseless. The demon starts choking him and he says, "Harder, daddy." Suddenly, a Crimson Makai Knight arrives there, and with his power, he makes quick work of the low-level demons, and Alfonso is in complete awe of him. He asks the knight if he is the hero of the valiant kingdom, the Knight of Light. The Makai Knight turns into his normal self and then starts walking away, telling the prince to follow him. On the other hand, German leads Leon to a nearby village because he heard rumors that strange things were happening there. Once they reach the village that looks like the very place where strange things happen daily, they are shocked to find ugly and lifeless-looking people. Even the girls are horrifying to look at, and Leon thinks that this will keep his father in line for some time. Everyone keeps staring at them creepily, and then the village chief comes to see them. He asks them why they are here, and German introduces himself as an investigator who makes money by solving weird cases. He says that he has heard that strange things are happening in this village and people are going missing, but the village chief tells him that their village is perfectly fine and peaceful, so there's no need for his services. He then tells German that strangers like him make the villagers worry, so he should immediately leave the village with his son. They go outside the village where Leon says that since the villagers say everything is fine, they should really get back on their journey to get vengeance. German suddenly stops him and starts ringing a bell near his eyes, asking if the demon of vengeance has taken over him. Leon tells him to stop when suddenly they hear some boys bullying another. They tease the timid boy and try to take away his toy, but something pricks the hand of the boy who tries to do it. The three ugly boys are about to hit him when German intervenes and tells them to go home. The boys tell them that they are outsiders and should leave the village quickly for their own good, because this boy's mom is a witch and she has cursed the village. They run away with that, and the timid boy with the yee-ass haircut starts talking to his doll and thanking it for biting the boy. German realizes that the rumors are not entirely false, and he asks the boy to lead them to his house. Once they reach the boy's house, his pretty mom comes out and violins start playing in German's mind as he sees her. The boy tells his mom that these guys saved him from the bullies and then runs to his room, and German decides to start small talk with the MILF named Aurelia. He asks her about her son, and she says that ever since her husband passed away, the boy was depressed, and one day he found a strange doll in the forest, and now he always plays with it. She is worried about him and apologizes for his odd behavior, but German says that it is no big deal. He then rings the magic bell to see if her eyes glow, but it turns out that she is just a normal human. Aurelia laughs, thinking that German thought she was a witch and came to hunt her. She assures him that she won't place any curse on him, and German tries to raise her up, saying that he wouldn't mind any love curses from her. Aurelia laughs at this and says that he seems to be a comedian. She then invites him to spend the night in her house because the villagers won't let them in, and German is quick to jump on the offer. Leon, however, is not so sure because he gets creepy vibes from the boy. They sit down to eat dinner, and German asks Aurelia about the disappearing people in the village and why people blame her for it. She replies that it is true that the villagers are disappearing, and since they want to blame someone, they chose her since she was originally an outsider too. Just then, an angry mob of villagers barges into the house, accusing Aurelia of kidnapping their children for her witchcraft rituals. She tells them that she didn't do anything, but the villagers claim to have seen the three bullies follow her son into the forest. German and Leon say that the boy was here the entire time, but no one believes them. The village chief tells them to stay out of the village affairs and then arrests Aurelia to get a confession out of her. German stops Leon for interfering, but as a man tries to capture the boy, he trips him, and then sends Leon after the boy while he decides to go and save Aurelia. The villagers have taken Aurelia to the slaughterhouse and covered her head with a black cloth. The village chief places a knife on her neck, asking her if she called those men here. He asks if she has told them about the ceremony, and Aurelia insists that she didn't tell them anything at all. Just then, someone comes running there and tells the chief that his house is up in flames. As everyone goes to see the burning house, German rings the demonic bell, but none of them are demons. He uses the chance to free Aurelia, but the villagers reach the slaughterhouse before they can escape. While the other villagers are eager to throw hands, the old chief stops them and asks German where his son is. He says that he doesn't know and warns the villagers to stay away from him because they won't be able to handle him. The chief says that he was just curious, and they mean no harm. He tells German to take the woman away because they don't have any suspicions now. But just as they are far away, he tells everyone to get ready because they are going to hold the ceremony tonight itself. On the other hand, Leon is in the forest and he follows the boy to a rundown cottage near a swamp. He sneaks close to the house, hearing the boy talk to the person who took away the 3 boys. He goes inside the house and finds a wooden doll that is still being chiseled. He goes to the next room, and to his shock, it is full of the same creepy dolls. Just then, the boy comes there, asking Leon what he is doing here. He tells him that he came to get him back and assures him that his mother will be safe too. Leon then leads him back home, asking what he was doing in the house. He replies that the villagers think that the house is cursed, so they don't go near it. It used to belong to the village woodcutter, and everyone thought he was the wizard before he was killed, and then they started blaming his mom instead. Once they reach the house, German goes outside to talk to Leon. He says that he checked the entire village, and none of them is a demon, and the only one left is the boy. He decides to deal with him personally, because he doesn't think Leon can handle that just yet, but Leon asks him to stop treating him like a kid. However, even the boy is not a demon, and now German doesn't have any more leads. They send the boy to his room, and then Leon asks Aurelia about the carpenter. She tells him that the villagers performed an exorcism ceremony and killed him, and suddenly, everything makes sense to Leon. He goes to the boy's room, but he is not there, so he decides to find him. He tells German that the demon is inside the doll before going, but before he can follow, someone attacks them. German protects Aurelia from the attack and then notices that the house has been surrounded by the villagers. On the other hand, the demon inside the doll is luring the boy to its hut when Leon suddenly catches up to him. He tries to convince the boy that the doll is manipulating him and asks him to hand it over, but that brings the demon out of it. The demon attacks Leon, who fends it off and then summons his armor to fight back. He overpowers the demon easily, but as he is about to deal a finishing blow, the demon takes up the face of the boy, causing him to hesitate. It escapes using this chance, and then the boy stops Leon from following it. Leon tells him that he needs to stop the demon from hurting the villagers, but the boy says he won't let him do that. He says that the villagers killed his dad, and now he's going to get revenge on them with the demon's help. Leon is horrified to hear this, and then the boy tells him that his dad was about to report the ceremony to the church, but the villagers found out his intentions, and they brutally killed him. He watched everything, and ever since that day, he wanted revenge. Leon starts trembling on hearing this. He tries to tell the boy that revenge is not the answer, but he doesn't even believe in what he is saying. On the other hand, the villagers try to break into the house while Aurelia tells German the full story of what happened to her husband. He realizes that she asked them to stay over so that she could stop her son and expose the villagers, but it seems too late for it. The villagers break her wall and try to attack her, but then suddenly, the demon arrives there and begins killing them one by one. German decides to take Aurelia to safety first, and the demon kills everyone. The village chief crawls away, and just as the demon is about to get him, Leon comes there and slashes his arm off. He fights the demon and takes it away from the old man. The demon shows him the face of the boy again, but Leon doesn't hesitate this time and finishes it. The boy comes there and starts hitting him for stopping him from getting revenge, and Leon can't come up with anything to say to him. Soon Aurelia comes there and hugs her son, apologizing for letting him suffer alone. The next day, Aurelia and her son hold a funeral for her husband, and then they decide to travel to another place. Leon and German watch over the village for a little longer and find the villagers taking the chief to the slaughterhouse for the ceremony. Leon is furious, but German tells him to leave them be, because they are just like Eternals, and they are not supposed to interfere in the matter of humans. In another part of the kingdom, Prince Alfonso is still fighting against the demon soldiers Mendoza has sent after him, but is mostly him getting his ass saved by the veteran Makai Knight. He asks him what those creatures are and what they want. The knight tells him that they are demons, and apparently Mendoza has a forbidden magic tool that allows him to control them at will, and he plans to use that to become the king of the Valiant Kingdom. Alfonso is shocked to hear this, and he asks the knight to lend him his strength in saving the country. The knight seems furious at this and swings his sword at the prince, but only to save him from the demon creeping up behind him. He tells the prince that before he can gain the strength to fight demons in Mendoza, he must know his destiny. Alfonso doesn't understand what he means, and the knight introduces himself as Rafal, a good friend of the former Golden Knight. Raphael takes him to an old abandoned church where a mural of the Knight of Light is still intact. He tells Alfonso that long ago people knew about the demons and the Mackay knights and priests that fought them. However, they slowly forgot about their existence, and now the Mackay knights and priests are labeled as witches and wizards and then brutally killed. Alfonso asks if this was all the plan of Mendoza because he personally led the witch hunts, and Raphael affirms. He says that Mendoza hates Mackay knights and their descendants, and that is why he wants to eliminate them all. He then reveals that the Knight of Light is none other than the first golden Mackay knight, Garo. Raphael explains that the magic armors can be passed only to blood descendants of the knights, and Alfonso is from the bloodline of the hero Garo. That comes as a shock to the prince, and then Raphael tells him about the witch named Anna, who was the first one to be executed under the allegation of cursing the king. He says that she was Garo's descendant, and she passed the golden armor to her newborn son as she was being burned alive. That is common knowledge, but the lesser-known fact is that the witch was actually the queen's older sister. Alfonso is dumbfounded as Raphael says that while Anna had the responsibility to fight against demons, her younger sister was adopted by nobles, and she never knew of her true family. Alfonso realizes that the necklace his mom gave him is connected to his legacy, and Raphael says he is correct. He tells him that Anna's son has already inherited the golden armor, so he doesn't have to think about that. Initially, his plan was to watch over the prince if things remained normal, but after everything that happened, he had to step up and rescue him. Alfonso asked Raphael if he also has the power to fight against demons because of his bloodline, and the veteran knight stares at him for a while before launching a surprise attack on him. Alfonso manages to block that, and he keeps parrying Raphael's attacks even though he is easily pushed back. Raphael thinks that he has enough talent to face other humans, and Alfonso says that he will use his power to protect his country from demons. Raphael just walks to him and hands over his sword, but as Alfonso grabs it, he quickly finds that he is not worthy. He can't even lift the heavy sword that plunges straight into the ground, but Raphael pulls it back effortlessly. He tells the prince that right now he can't even don armor, but he is determined to pay any price for power. Raphael then leads him to his destination, a territory that was once famous for its agriculture, but now it is completely desolate. Alfonso is horrified on seeing this, and as he approaches some people to ask what happened, they run away in fear. He doesn't understand what is happening, because the lord of this territory was a sincere man, and Raphael tells him that he is no longer a human. They enter the lord's mansion, and a flying demon follows them. It attacks Alfonso, but Raphael strikes him down and then uses the bell to reveal that he is indeed a demon. The soldier transforms and begins fighting Raphael, who doesn't summon his armor to fight against it. Alfonso just stands on guard, but one hit from the demon sends him crashing into the room, where a noble is playing a harp while a giant demon approaches a woman and her newborn baby. The woman silently begs Alfonso to help her, and he attacks the monster, but his sword does no damage. He somehow takes away the woman and her child from the slow demon, so it eats the noble instead. Alfonso is horrified, and in his desperation, he attacks the demon with anything he can find only to get slapped. He gets back again, but then Raphael arrives there to handle the situation. He summons his armor and then sets his sword on fire to finish the demon in just one blow. Alfonso is awestruck by his power, and he later asks Raphael to teach him how to fight demons. He agrees and promises that he will pass down all of his skills and knowledge to him. On the other hand, Leon aggressively wakes up his dad, who is having wet dreams. German tells him that he is such a letdown because a boy his age should be having more wet dreams than anyone. Leon just throws a pillow at him and then heads outside, but then suddenly, he finds himself on the moon and Zaruba is in front of him. He tells him that it is the day he receives his life force, and then starts sucking it. Leon loses consciousness because of that, and German panics as he reaches his side. As he lays unconscious in the bed, Leon's mind finds itself in a strange, timeless dimension, where he meets the previous Golden Knight, his grandfather. His grandfather tells him that according to their contract, Zaruba is sucking away 1 day of his life per month, and this is the place where that lost time goes. The Golden Knight walks towards Leon, telling him to not worry too much when he is lost and just ask himself what it is that he wants to protect. He pats Leon on the back and then suddenly vanishes. Soon after that, Leon wakes up in the lap of a funny-looking girl in a carriage of a traveling circus troupe. German tells him that these people were kind enough to let them hitch a ride. Leon gets back up and starts talking about the dream he had, but then he decides against it. German presses him to spill the beans, but just then, the carriage driver tells them that they are almost at their destination, the capital of the Valiant Kingdom. Once they reach the city, Leon's first thought is entering the castle and getting revenge for his mom, but his dad tells him to hold his horses. He says that there are many ladies of the night he used to frequent in the capital in the past, and he can't do anything before he sees them. He tells Leon to go on his own and gather some info, and Leon decides to keep the money with him. Since he has no money, German decides to gather info for real. He goes to a weapon shop and starts a conversation with the apprentice there, but he tells him that they are closed for the day because the boss is not in a good mood. Just then, the boss comes out and he looks cheerful, like nothing is wrong. He asks German what he wants and then decides to help him since he has come all the way here. On the other hand, Leon wanders through the city and finds too many soldiers everywhere. Even the people are talking about them, saying that recently, the number of soldiers have been growing because of the case with the prince and the neighboring countries growing stronger. While he is listening to their gossip, a milkmaid calls out to him, asking him to try some of her famous cheese. Liam refuses, but then the girl in the shop catches his attention. The milkmaid suddenly clings to him, asking if he wants that girl instead of the cheese. She tries hard to sell her as a virgin, and Leon tells her that he is not interested. The woman is not ready to let go, but just then, Emma comes there and grabs Leon's hand, asking what he is doing when he already has her. He doesn't even understand what is going on as Emma drags him away. He asks her what she is doing, and she asks if she interrupted his plans of getting laid. Leon nervously tells her that he doesn't want to share a bed with someone he doesn't love, and Emma is shocked because she realizes that he is still a virgin. She prude shames him and he gets flustered, so she gets to the topic, asking if he has any information on demons. Leon tells her that he has none, so she decides to leave after giving him the advice to control his rage and become a man in every sense of the word. At night, German is still with the jolly blacksmith boss who takes him to a pub. As they start drinking, German asks him about the increasing number of soldiers, and he tells him that the knight commander mysteriously died a few weeks ago and a new knight rose to take his position. He wears an impressive black armor, and people call him the Black Knight. He was the one who reformed the knighthood and created more knights in black to guard the castle, even though they may look creepy to everyone. After that, the Black Knighthood began recruiting more people to join them and even called able-bodied men from civilians to their ranks. They are trained and then made to fight to the death, and if they pass the test, they can become real knights. German is shocked to hear that, and then the blacksmith tells him that his son is also a soldier in the squadron. The blacksmith's assistant can't bear to hear the story anymore, so he immediately leaves the room, but the unbothered blacksmith keeps boasting about his son. He suddenly gets a migraine and tells German that he needs to rest now because he has drunk too much. He goes outside, all sweaty and groggy, and asks some soldiers of the new squad if they have seen his son. They tell him that they don't know anyone by that name, but the blacksmith suddenly starts foaming at the mouth as he calls them liars, and then he suddenly turns into a demon and attacks them. The next morning, the blacksmith is completely out of focus while working, and his assistant goes grocery shopping, where he sees a shopkeeper beating a boy who was stealing food from him. The assistant tries to stop him, but the shopkeeper tells him to pay for what the boy stole if he wants to help. He hesitates to give an answer, but Leon comes there just then and pays for the boy. He tries helping him up, but the boy is terrified and runs away from him. The assistant thanks Leon, telling him that he was also like that boy once, and it was the blacksmith who decided to take him in. The blacksmith and his son accepted him as family, and that is why he was able to live a decent life. He invites Leon over for breakfast, but to Leon's shock, as Dad is already there. As they sit down to eat, German starts complaining to the blacksmith about how his son isn't growing up the way he wants him to. Leon lashes at him for being a terrible father, and as they keep quarreling, the blacksmith gets angry and tells them to leave his house. He immediately apologizes, saying that he is not feeling well, and then goes to his room. Leon and German decide to leave, but the assistant runs to them to explain that something is wrong with his boss. He says that the boss's son who went to join the knights lost his life, and only his sword was returned to them. Ever since that day, the blacksmith has been acting differently. He keeps staring at the sword for hours, and he has sent all of his workers to other shops. The assistant says that his boss looks like he has been possessed by something and then takes Leon and German to the shop and shows them the sword. As German looks at it, he is certain that it once housed a demon. That night, the blacksmith turns into a demon again and starts attacking the knights who were in the same squad as his son. He tells them to return his son as he begins consuming them, and then the assistant comes to him and asks him to accept that his son is dead. The blacksmith attacks him too, but Leon comes to his aid. German tells Leon to leave this case to him, and the blacksmith demon forges a sword in real time to fight against him. German summons his armor and deals continuous blows on the demon. He leads it to a rooftop, and then uses his chain blades to launch a powerful attack that destroys its face. After that, he slices off the demon and finishes it off without much difficulty. The assistant begins to cry, saying that he couldn't help his boss at all, but German tells him to think about what he can do now rather than lamenting the past. The next day, Emma comes to talk to German about the Black Knight Order. He tells her that apparently knights fight each other to death, and the winner gets selected in the Black Order. Hema tells him that there is more to the story. The winner has to go to a secret underground room before joining the Black Order, and she claims that a castle maid heard screams coming from the room. Both German and Emma are certain that the winning soldiers are being possessed by demons, and it doesn't make a difference if they win or they lose. A couple of nights later, as German is out on his nightly mission and Leon is sulking alone in his room, the landlady of their inn comes up with an idea to earn money. She's heard the announcements that the prince is on the run along with a middle-aged knight, and she feels that the description exactly fits Leon and his dad. Her husband tries to convince her that they don't look high-profile enough, but the woman is confident that Leon is the prince because she once saw the prince when he was a child. She calls the Black Knights to the inn, and they storm Leon's room. He takes some of them down quickly, and then escapes the inn, but the knights keep following him. Suddenly, they turn into demons and Leon realizes that he doesn't need to hold back against them. He defeats them without even summoning his armor, and the leader of the Black Order, the OG Black Knight, witnesses everything. He realizes that the boy is not the crown prince, but he's a Makai Knight, and that is good enough for him. He suddenly attacks Leon, who blocks his sword. The Black Knight tells him to attack him freely, because hurting him won't violate his code as a Makai Knight. He kicks Leon towards a wall and then summons a black magic armor that releases an ominous aura. Leon feels uneasy facing him, and he summons his armor too. He attacks the Black Knight, who finds him too weak to be a Golden Knight. Leon decides to escape, but the Black Knight catches up to him and hits him to the ground. He then uses his power to push Leon against a wall and disables his armor. He is about to deal a finishing blow, but Ima fishes Leon out of danger. However, the Black Knight burns for strings and then attacks her, almost hitting her. Ima escapes immediately, and since Leon is also far away from his reach, the Black Knight decides to retreat too. Leon is unconscious for a long time after this, and he sees a dream in which he is a werewolf who kills everyone who tries to help him. He wakes up with a jolt as the dream ends and finds himself in a bedroom that he doesn't recognize. Suddenly, an old man and a girl come there, calling him Pepe. Leon doesn't understand what is happening because he has no memories of who he is. The old man gives him a bitter medicine, saying that it will help him recover his health and memories because he was probably bit by a werewolf. Leon is even more confused now, and just then, the village jester comes there playing his flute. All the children rush to follow him, and the old man asks Leon to go with the girl Agatha. He follows the jester along with the other kids, who tell him that they are going to the church's almshouse. They reach the church where a creepy-looking priest selects a few kids to take them in for the day, and the rest return disappointed. An old nun asks Agatha about the boy with her, and she replies that it is her brother, Pape, who has come back for her. The nun freaks out on hearing this and tells Agatha to come here later to work. Once they go back home, Agatha tells Leon how glad she is that he returned for her, but he doesn't know how to respond. She leaves to work in the church after that, and then Leon runs into the old nun, who is terrified of him. However, when she learns that he has lost his memories, she proudly tells him that she helped save his life by sending him away from the town with some traveling entertainers. Leon doesn't really believe her, and as he goes home, he starts searching for the old man to find answers. He finds his sword in a cupboard, and just as he touches it, his memories return to him. As the old man comes to the house, Leon grabs his collar, asking if he is the one who took his memories and showed him the weird dream. He affirms, saying that he's a Makai priest, and he used a medicine to make him forget who he is. He tells him that he did it for Agatha, who was the daughter of his friend who was killed by the townspeople on suspicions of being a werewolf. Leon realizes that they were the people in his dream, and the old man tells him that Agatha had an older stepbrother named Pepe who hid her in a safe place and then went to the church to seek help, but instead, the priest and the nuns sold him as a slave. Leon is horrified to hear this, but then the old man gets worried because it is past the time Agatha should be home. Turns out that the village jester was the real Pepe all along, and as the nun sees him, she is terrified. However, Pepe is no longer a human but a demon, and he attacks the priest who sold him to Epstein Island, and then begins luring the kids away from the village. When the kids try to run away, he turns into a swift demon and grabs them, but Leon comes there looking for Agatha. He realizes that Pepe wants revenge but tells him that he cannot let any demon harm humans. He summons his golden armor and attacks Pepe, overcoming his speed to defeat him. He tells the kids that they are fine now, but they call him a werewolf and run away in fear. Leon then leaves the village and returns to the city, where German is waiting for him. He has heard from Ima that he lost to the Black Knight and says that currently he won't help him. He asks Leon what he plans to do next, and he replies that he will think about it. He begins walking away, but German tells him to stop because he needs his help. Because of some circumstances, he has lost everything, even his clothes, and now he badly needs some money. Leon just throws the pouch at his face and then walks away to figure things out on his own. The previous day, as German wandered through the town, he saw a pretty girl running away from some goons. She stumbled into his arms and asked him to help her, and just then, 3 gangster-looking guys arrived there. They told German to hand over the girl, but he refused to do that. The men said they would not hesitate to kill him, but German gave them a death stare and pulled out the magic bell. The men were intimidated, but as German rang the bell and saw that all of them were humans, he decided to run away carrying the girl. She told him that she knew a good spot to hide and took him to an abandoned hut outside the city. German then asked her name and why the men were chasing after her. She introduced herself as a waitress named Irene and said that the men had been harassing her at her job one day, so she got them with a wine bottle. Nothing further happened that day, but today, as they found her in the city, they started chasing after her. She then thanked German and asked how she could repay him. He refused to take anything at first, but then asked for a kiss, and Irene didn't hesitate in giving him a light peck back. German realized that he fumbled and should have asked for a bigger reward, and Irene said that she was willing to give him whatever he wanted. German thought he lucked out and immediately stripped, telling her that the man should take the initiative in such cases. Just then, the 3 thugs barged into the house, and before German could do anything, Irene went to them, stealing his clothes and purse. The men said that one look at his perverted face was enough for them to realize how easy he would be to fool, and Irene played out her role perfectly. German realized that he got played and he accepted his defeat. He told them to take his money, but return his clothes, but they decided to beat him up first. German used the ladder available there to fight off the men and then told Irene that he forgave her before taking only his daggers and running away. He kept flashing to women along the way, and they sent the knights to capture him. The knights were already looking for a man associated with a witch, and they thought German was the one. He kept running from them practically naked, but then found some sheets being dried in the sun and decided to borrow one. He saw a woman there, and she allowed him to take a sheet. Just then, the soldier arrived there and accidentally shot him while trying to threaten him. He had graduated from the Stormtrooper Academy, so his arrow went towards the woman instead, but luckily, German grabbed it and saved her. More soldiers came there soon and said that they couldn't kill German because they needed to find the location of the witch from him. He didn't even understand what they were talking about, but the woman told him to run away. However, on the way, some kids from the slums surrounded German, and one of them stole the blanket, forcing him to run around like a Playboy model again. The soldiers almost caught up to him, but then Emma came there to his rescue. She made the horses trip and then led German to safety, telling him that while he was having the time of his life, his son was battling for his life against the Black Knight. German was shocked to hear this, and then Emma told him that the Black Knight was actually a Mackay Knight called Bernard. German had heard that name, and that made him worry about his son. Emma assured him that Leon escaped alive, and German decided to leave it at that. He said that he wouldn't help Leon out this time because he must realize that he was weak and find the way to grow strong by himself. He then began thinking about Bernard, who used to be his best friend and partner in the past. At that time, Anna and Bernard worked as a team, and Bernard was just a third wheel between the two of them. When Anna was declared the witch who had cursed the king, the soldiers began chasing after them and shot down German's course. Anna was pregnant that time, and German asked Bernard to take her to safety, but instead he decided to stay back and fight to buy time for German and Anna to escape. He stayed behind to stall the knights, but being bound by his duty as a Mackay Knight, he could not attack them. In the end, he was severely injured and then captured, and presently, he had turned into a demon himself. German thought that he needed to brace himself for the day he faced his old friend again, and then went to the abandoned house to see if his clothes were there by any chance. As soon as he entered the house, Iron attacked him from behind, but he dodged her attack. Suddenly, she dropped her weapon and ran to hug him, asking him to save her. German told her that he was a simp, but even he wouldn't be fooled twice in a day. However, as the woman started crying, he started believing her a bit more. She told him that after he left, one of her friends turned into a monster and attacked others, and now he was after her. Just as she said that the guy in question came there and transformed into a demon. It attacked German and Irene, and German somehow fended the demon off with just his daggers and then defeated it to look cool in front of Iron. After that, he told her that if she kept doing bad things, she would turn into a monster too. She was still afraid, but German told her that he would stay by her side for tonight, but he was a different kind of monster himself. So he gets some action for free that night, and the next morning as he leaves the house, the soldiers find him again. They start chasing after him, and that's when he meets Leon, who is returning from the village. Meanwhile, Prince Alfonso is training under Raphael to become stronger, and the old knight hides the fact that he is suffering from a terminal illness as he grooms him to be a Mackay Knight. As he coughs blood after a sparring session, Raphael realizes that he doesn't have any time to waste, and he goes to the lowly from the Watchdog Association to ask about a demon he can use to train his student. She tells him about a ferocious chimera who can destroy entire towns by itself, and no one who went to fight it has returned alive. The chimera also uses the skulls of its victims as accessories, which will make it easier to find. Raphael thinks that it is the right opponent to teach Alfonso what he needs to know, but the lowly tells him that the boy might die because the chimera is really powerful. Raphael replies that he has no time, and if Alfonso dies during the training, that will be the end of both their stories. He leaves her place, and just then Leon arrives there. But Loli is surprised to see him because it's his first visit to her office. She asks where his father is, and he replies that he's in the middle of training alone and he needs a strong demon that he can fight. But Loli complains that she doesn't have strong demons at her beck and call, and that everyone comes to her when they want to find one. However, she suddenly gets an idea and tells Leon that she knows exactly what he needs. On the other hand, Raphael comes back to the abandoned church where Alfonso is training. As he goes to talk to him, Alfonso accidentally calls him Dad, and that brings back some traumatic memories for Raphael. Anyway, they sit down to eat dinner, and Raphael tells the prince that it is time to finish his training, and for his last lesson, he will have to hunt a strong demon. Alfonso is not confident about that because he has yet to land a single strike on Raphael, but he tells him that they can't take too much time with their training because Mendoza can convert this entire kingdom into a stronghold of demons at any time. He then tells Alfonso about the Chimera, and the prince agrees to fight it. At the same time, Leon is hunting some low-level demons, but he is not satisfied. He thinks that he can never grow strong enough to beat the Black Knight at this rate, so he decides to chase after the Chimera Chimera that the lowly told him about. The next day, Alfonso leaves on a journey to defeat the Chimera, and Raphael tells him that once he slays the Chimera, he can wear the magic armor. He tells Alfonso to go alone, and once he is gone, he coughs blood and collapses. Meanwhile, Leon has reached the city where the Chimera is supposed to be found, and there he finds a scammer trying to extort money from Alfonso for breaking a precious vase. Alfonso doesn't know how to deal with the situation, so Leon goes there and says that it was just a cheap pot that was not finished yet. The man tries to fight back, but gets scared as he sees Leon's sword and runs away. Alfonso thanks Leon for helping him, and he tells him to be more careful from now on. He leaves on his way now, but as he hears some women trying to forcefully get Alfonso to stay at their inn and get laid, he decides to help the stupid boy again. He helps him find a good inn, and they have dinner together. They introduce each other, and to avoid any suspicions, Alfonso says that he has the same name as the wanted prince. Leon asks him if he will be fine on his own, and he replies that his destination is nearby, so he won't be in any danger. At night, as Leon is running out of the city to find the Chimera, he spots someone else who is running outside too. He thinks it is a demon and attacks him, but it turns out to be Alfonso, who is just as surprised to see Leon. He makes an excuse that he wanted to get some air and tells Leon to return to the inn. However, Leon overtakes him, telling him that he needs the air more and asks him to return to his room. They both try to overtake each other, but when Leon tells Alfonso to turn back for his own safety, he realizes that their goals are the same. Just then, they hear a loud roar coming from a distance, and Alfonso exclaims it is the Chimera they are looking for. Leon is confused, but he allows Alfonso to join him as they run towards the Chimera. They are absolutely horrified when they see that it is nothing compared to the other demons they have seen. The Chimera notices them too and attacks them with a scythe that Leon somehow dodges. It then shoots magic blasts at Alfonso, who blocks them with his sword but gets flung back. Leon tells him to leave the Chimera to him, but Alfonso replies that he must defeat it to become a Makai knight so that he can protect his family and his kingdom, and if he dies in the fight, it will mean that he could not have saved them anyway. Leon is moved by his words, so he tells Alfonso to focus on the Chimera's main body while he deals with his scythes. He then quickly defeats the two scythe-wielding skeletons, and Alfonso uses this chance to climb on the Chimera. He dodges the magic blasts and then strikes the Chimera with his full power, cracking its body and forcing it to stop. He wonders if this was all it took to defeat the demon, but then suddenly, the chains binding the doors of the Chimera start to break. Alfonso jumps down to see what is happening, and as the doors open, the Chimera's mouth is revealed. It shoots a powerful magic cannon that obliterates everything in its path, and Leon and Alfonso somehow avoid getting hit. Leon then tells Alfonso that he needs to give up on the mission now because if they don't defeat the Chimera quickly, all the people in nearby cities and villages will be in danger. Leon summons his armor, and Alfonso is shocked to see that he is the Knight of Light, the guardian of the Valiant Kingdom. Leon stands in front of the Chimera and then rushes ahead to attack its mouth, but the Chimera shoots a storm of magic attacks to take him down. Leon manages to send a flying slash at the Chimera, but he gets hit the very next moment, and then the demon pins him against the cliff. Alfonso goes to help him, but he gets hit by a blast. He thinks that he can't do anything, but just then, he hears Raphael's voice, telling him not to give up. He turns around to see Raphael on a bridge, telling him that once he picks up a sword, he should not give up until the moment he dies. He then summons his armor and dashes towards the Chimera at full speed. The Chimera rains fire on him as well, but he dodges everything and then hits it with his full power. The Chimera takes a lot of damage, but Raphael realizes that he has used up all his power in life. He starts getting weak, and the Chimera stabs him. Leon is on the ground, too weak to use his armor. Alfonso can't do anything but scream. Suddenly, Raphael takes off his armor and throws his sword towards Alfonso, telling him to take it. He tells him that he is giving him his armor so that he can become a Makai knight. Raphael asks Alfonso to take his sword and defeat the Chimera before it heals fully. Alfonso says he is not confident, but Raphael tells him that he believes in him. Just then, the Chimera eats him, and in his rage, Alfonso lifts up his sword and summons his crimson armor. He charges at the Chimera with full strength, piercing through its body and destroying its core with just one hit. He sees the soul of his master for one final time, telling him that he is glad to have a successor like him. He tells him to become the guardian knight Gaia, who can protect everyone, and then vanishes. With that, the Chimera demon explodes, releasing a blanket of energy that covers the sky for miles. Alfonso does not lift his head to see that, as he cannot stop his tears. He swears on his master's sword that he will surely become a Makai knight who will protect the kingdom from demons. Soon after that, Alfonso goes back to the abandoned church, and Leon accompanies him. He says they should create a grave for Raphael, but Alfonso says there is no me for that. He says that he will carry on his master's dreams and ambitions with him in the form of the armor he has inherited from him, just like Leon has inherited his armor from his mother. Leon is shocked to learn that Alfonso knows about him, and he replies that everyone knows of the Knight of Light, who is the guardian of their kingdom. Leon replies that he is no guardian, and he just wants to defeat Mendoza and the demons. Alfonso says that his goal is the same and he and Leon agree to fight together. Soon after that, they return to the capital, but the Black Order is out on the watch. Leon tries to sneak in, but quickly gets found out by a knight. Luckily, Ema is there to save his ass once again. He is not pleased to see her, and she asks him if he won't even thank her for saving him from the Black Knight earlier. The flustered Leon thanks her and then returns to his hideout with some supplies. Alfonso is also there, and he thanks Leon before asking if he met his father on the way. Leon curses German, saying that he doesn't deserve to be called a father, but Alfonso asks him not to talk like that about his uncle. Just then, he feels someone behind him and points his swords at her, but it is just Ema. She introduces herself as a Makai priest, and Alfonso immediately puts his sword back. Ema then asks him what he was saying about the man who takes all decisions from his lower brain, being his uncle, when suddenly, they see German running away from a man whose wife was sleeping with him. He somehow gives him the slip and then finds himself in front of Leon's group. Leon is about to throw hands, but Alfonso stops him. He calls his German uncle, and his expressions suddenly get serious. He takes a look at Alfonso and thinks that he indeed looks like Anna, and he has the same grace as her. He is heartbroken that she had a kid with another man and didn't even tell him. He starts crying, not giving anyone a chance to explain things. He refuses to hear who Alfonso's dad is and says that since Anna gave birth to him, he will accept him as his son because he loved her so much. He then leaves the house, saying that he wants some time to process it. Ema starts laughing because she never thought German could get so flustered, and Alfonso says they must clear the misunderstanding. Leon tells him to let him be, because he deserves to be taught a lesson after everything he has done in all these years. After that, Alfonso starts explaining to them the plan to sneak inside the castle using secret passages. He is sure that Mendoza knows of them too, but it will still be easier to use them than to attack head-on. However, he is worried about the unknown number of demons under Mendoza's control. At the same time, Mendoza enters his office with his assistant and finds Bernard there. Bernard informs him about Rafael's death and Alfonso inheriting his magic armor. While Mendoza is not pleased to learn that the prince has become a Makai knight, he is happy that Rafael died because he had a long-standing grudge against him. Many years ago, when he was a Makai priest, he conducted secret experiments on humans to create a tool that could create infinite power, but the leader of the priests disowned him for breaking the code. The Golden Knight and Rafael held him down as the old priestess delivered his punishment. Mendoza complained that it was unfair that they have to live below humans and protect them even though they are the strong ones. He said that they should rule over humans with their power, but the old priestess told him that he was too blind to even see his sins. She did not want to kill him as it went against their code, so she placed a curse on him that would activate whenever he came close to any magic knight. This curse would pass down to his descendants forever, separating them from the Makai knights so that his tainted blood doesn't mix with theirs. As he walked away defeated and humiliated, Mendoza swore to get revenge. He soon reached the Valiant Kingdom and started serving the king. He used his knowledge to cure epidemics, and the king decided to appoint him permanently. After that, he sent demons to hunt enemy armies before wars that he had advised the king to start, further earning his recognition. The king appointed him as a minister and even got one of his friend's daughters to marry him. Mendoza was forgetting his quest for revenge, but that changed when his son was born. He found that he had the same curse marks on his body, and his wife was completely devastated. In his rage and desperation, Mendoza killed them both and then swore that he would end the bloodlines of all the magic knights and priests if he couldn't have his descendants live properly. He then started the witch hunts, and one day the queen's attendant Octavia came to him. She had lost faith in God and was slowly turning into a demon. She wanted to serve Mendoza because she was attracted to his cold elegance, and he decided to accept her. He told her that he would never cast her aside, but she was not allowed to touch him because he feared the curse marks would resurface. Back to the present, Octavia has been serving him loyally for all this time. Mendoza tells Bernard that when the Makai Knights and the prince attack them this time, he should crush them all without mercy, and that will earn him a grand reward. On the other hand, German is still sulking about Alfonso. He wonders if Anna was not satisfied by his performance in bed, or was she in love with another man? Leon comes there and almost kicks him down the cliff, following his impulsive thoughts. German wants to fight with him, but he calms down as he sees Alfonso. He then tells the boy that if he is Anna's son, he is his son too, and asks him to call him dad. Ema cannot control her laughter, and Leon asks his dad to listen to other people before jumping to conclusions. Alfonso tells him the entire story after that, and German is really relieved to learn that his wife didn't cheat on him. He then realizes that he is the uncle of the future king of Valiente, which means that he can have fun with the maids in the castle without worrying. As he is busy imagining creating a harem, Leon kicks him down the cliff, for real this time. After that, they go to the place where their infiltration starts. Leon and Alfonso climb up using the ropes set by Ema, and German follows after them. Ema asks him about the marks she saw on Leon's hand in the past because she is sure that they can be dangerous to him. German replies that he doesn't know anything about them, but he knows that it was something Anna left for her son. He then gets ready to climb and asks Ema where her rope is. She tells him that she is not going to accompany them any further because the thing she is looking for is not here, and she cannot afford to die yet. German tells her that they are not going to die and then climbs up. The three of them follow a dangerous path and come to a cave that has a secret door. Liam then asks Alfonso if he knows where his mother is imprisoned, and he says that she is in the prisoner tower on the other side. Leon says they should save her first, but Alfonso replies that he must save his country before her, because that is what his mother wants as well. He thanks Leon for giving the suggestion and then tells them that they should hurry up and face the enemy of their kingdom.